Hey everyone! Hi! Hi, it's Wednesday, my favorite day of the week, except for Friday, because Friday is the weekend. I'm going to wait a few minutes for people to jump on. Tonight, we're going to be talking about that $50,000 a year hiring mistake that every cleaning business owner is making in their business right now. How is everyone? How's everyone's week? Today's hump day, right? Once we get over today, smooth sailing for the rest of the week, right? Smooth sailing for the rest of the week. So I usually wait a few minutes for people to come on. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cheryl Hager. I'm a cleaning business owner and industry coach. I'm still active in my cleaning business. I founded my business. I took it from zero money. I didn't have any money. I was a single parent and I needed money to pay the rent and put food on the table. So that's why I started cleaning houses. Today, my business is over $900,000 a year organically. And I must mention that is a lot different than having a $900,000 a year cleaning company with paid ads. Very different. Very different. I teach an organic strategy. I've never paid for an ad once in my career as a business. And here we are. So a lot of people think, and this is off topic, but a lot of people think the higher the number, the more profit, and that's actually not true. Right? It's not true. You can make the same amount of profit in a $500,000 business as you can in a 1.2 or $1.4 million business. Those people are usually spending. They have heavy ad spends, but it means that their cost is higher, so that's eating into their marketing budget. That's a little side note for all of you that see a big number and get all excited. It doesn't necessarily mean that they could be making more profit than you because their cost goes way up as you scale into the seven-figure range. Your cost goes way up, and some cleaning business owners aren't able to handle that. They are very risk adverse and don't want to spend that type of money. Don't want to spend, 50, 60, $70,000 a year on ads because that's scary, right? That's a little tidbit. So I built my company organically. I've never paid for an ad. I was a scrappy hustler. That's why I say that. I was scrappy. I didn't have any money. I was a single parent with a little boy at home when I decided to grow a cleaning business. And I just had money to go buy a vacuum, a mop, a caddy, and I was scrappy and I went out and I hit the pavement and I found clients. That's basically how I did it. So I've made a ton of mistakes along the way, but I've learned through them. And through my coaching, I've helped hundreds of owners go from stuck and overwhelmed to thriving and no longer cleaning, which is the big dog in the room, right? No longer cleaning. I have developed techniques that I have found to be best practices, shortcuts, and better ways to scale your cleaning business all organically. And I bring them all to you every Wednesday at 5 p.m. with different topics on growing cleaning companies. So tonight's topic is that $50,000 hiring mistake that owners are making every year with their hiring and how to stop it and how to put that $50,000 in your pocket. Let's see who's on. We got a bunch of people on. Awesome. So if you're joining me for the first time, say hi. Let me know where you're from, right? Say hi and let me know. This is live, okay? This is live, so people kind of jump on and off, right? So just let me know where you're from, say hi, all that great stuff. So before I dive in tonight, I want you to do something for me. I want you to think about every cleaner that you've hired in the last 12 months. Now think about how many of them are still with you. That's what I thought, right? Maybe not many. So here's what no one is telling you. Every single time someone walks out that door, quits without notice, or just stops showing up, it costs your business between $3,000 and $5,000 per person. So if you've lost 10 cleaners this year or over the course of a year, many of you have lost way more than that. One year I lost 27. You're looking at about a $50,000 mistake walking right out of your business. So all of that amazing business you're bringing in is just going right out the door because you're not retaining your people, right? So do that math for a second. That's 50K, right? That's $50,000. That's someone's salary. That's a van, right? That's their college, your kid's college fund, right? That's your freedom. And most of you don't even realize it's happening because it's a slow bleed. So Tonight, we're going to talk about why that's happening. And I promise you, you're going to have some serious light bulb moments. So grab a notebook, grab a pen and paper, and we will do this. So let's get into it. So, and I'm going to be honest, right? And I want you to all be honest with yourself during this part. No judgment here. I've seen all of this, right? I've seen all of this, but awareness is where change begins. So mistake number one, if you want to write this down, if you're watching this on replay, a lot of people watch this on replay. Mistake number one, right? Drop in the comment, even if you're watching it on replay. Have you ever hired someone because you were desperate? I have, right? You needed someone tomorrow. You needed someone to fill the schedule, or a client was threatening to leave, right? So you needed to cover that schedule. You had 3 jobs and you had no one to send. So you hired the first warm body that applied, right? We've all done that. No background check, no real conversation. Just, can you start Monday? Right? Great. Here's the address, right? Terrible. And then you're shocked when it doesn't work out. Why? Because it's just a body. Right? The truth is that desperation hiring is the most expensive thing you will ever do in your business. It costs you thousands and thousands of dollars a year. You're basically paying someone to cause chaos and then just leave you, right? Then just walk out the door, right? Reactive hiring is not a strategy. That's not a hiring strategy. It's a crisis response. And you cannot build a business while you're consistently in crisis mode, right? In crisis mode. So most cleaning business owners, and I say this with love, and I always do not have an interview process. You have a conversation. Maybe you ask them if they've cleaned before. Maybe you show them a photo of your uniform. Maybe you tell them the pay rate and call it a day. And maybe that's it, right? That's not an interview. That's a chat. A real interview process filters out the wrong people before they ever set foot in a client's home. So without it, you're essentially playing Russian roulette with your reputation, with your clients, and with your income. So drop a money in the comment if you've ever had a bad hire damage a client relationship. Anyone have a bad hire damage a client relationship? I have. Hey there, how are you? I'm from New England. Where are you from? So anyone ever have that? Think about that for a second. Probably every single one of you, right? Because without a process, you're just getting lucky, and luck is not a business plan. Okay, that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3, you have 0 onboarding. You do not have an onboarding process. Someone gets hired. They show up day 1. What do? You hand them up. You show them around the house and say, just follow me. Or worse, you send them with another cleaner who also has no idea what your standards are, okay? This is not an onboarding process. There's no welcome. There's no training. There's no culture, and there's no clarity on expectations. And then they ghost you after 2 weeks, and you say, cleaners are so unreliable, right? You gave them nothing to be loyal to. So people don't leave jobs. They leave environments where they feel invisible, where they feel confused and undervalued. And when you have no onboarding process, that is exactly the environment you're creating without even knowing it. Mistake number 4, and I see this probably 70 to 80% of the time, you're still cleaning. This one hits different. Stay with me for a second. How many of you got into this business so you could be your own boss, have freedom, have flexibility, and build something? But instead, you are still out there cleaning houses yourself at 7 p.m. on a Friday night, right? That was me. Drop a yes in the comments if that is you. Drop an S in the comments, right? So here's what happens when you are still cleaning. You don't have time to hire properly. You don't have time to train properly. You don't have time to lead your team properly. So you hire fast and you hire sloppy. You skip the onboarding entirely. You don't know how many people I've talked to that say they have no onboarding at all, and you cross your fingers and hope it works. So you cannot build a team when you are still in the team, right? It's difficult to do that, right? And it creates hiring chaos is one of the biggest things keeping you stuck behind that mop, right? So let's talk about the real pain for a second. I want to talk to you about what it's actually costing you, what it's actually costing you. And I just don't mean money. 6 a.m., picture this. At 6 a.m., your phone rings, it's a cleaner. You have a feeling she's not going to show, right? You have a client expecting someone to show up at their house in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We start at 8:30. So what do? You throw on your uniform. You grab your caddy and you go clean that house again for the umpteenth time. Who even knows, right? This was not the dream. This is not why you started your cleaning business. And the worst part, this isn't a one-time thing. This is your every other week. This is your life right now. You're covering houses, you're covering staff, right? So let me ask you something. And I was just talking to someone that hasn't taken vacation in years. When was the last time you took a full weekend off? Phone off, no worrying about who was showing up, no answering frantic client text. When was the last time you watched your kids' game without checking your phone every 5 minutes? Or when was the last time you actually felt like a business owner instead of just the most overworked, underpaid cleaner on your own team? How many of you have felt like that? Nobody talks about the mental weight of this. It's the constant anxiety of who's going to call out this week. It's this narrative that you create from the chaos and the stimulus that's happening to you, right? The embarrassment when a client complains because your hire did a terrible job. The guilt when you cancel on your family, on a dinner or an outing, right? Because you have to go clean. The exhaustion of starting over again with a new hire who will probably also leave if you don't fix these things. This is the hiring hamster wheel, right? And it's very bad. And you didn't build a business. What you did is you built yourself a very stressful and very expensive job, and you deserve so much better than that. Is everyone getting this, right? Is everyone hearing this? Is everyone hearing this here, right? Who's on here that's part of the group? Who's on here that's part of the group? All right, the light at the end of the tunnel. I need you to take a breath for a second, because I did not come here tonight to make you feel terrible. I came here tonight because I know something about you. You're still here. You're still watching. You are still fighting for this business, even when it's been hard, even when it's been messy, and even when you have questioned everything. So that tells me everything I need to know about you, okay? And what I know without a shadow of a doubt is that this is fixable. All of it is fixable. The no-shows, the ghosting, the revolving door, the exhaustion, the fact that you are still cleaning houses when you never planned to be. Every single bit of it is fixable. And not in a someday, maybe if everything goes perfectly kind of way. In like a this time next year, your life could look completely 100% different kind of way. That's what I'm saying. So let me show you what I mean. So imagine waking up on a Monday morning and your first thought is not who's going to call out today. Your phone is quiet and it's kind of scary because it's quiet, that the peaceful kind. And all of a sudden you're like, you know what? My team has it. They have it. You pour your coffee, you sit down, you take a breath, you exhale. Your team is getting ready. Your team is already out there. They know exactly where to go. They know exactly what to do. They know your standards because you built a system that taught them what your expectations are. And they are proud to represent your company. And they go out with their shirts and it's a symphony. And they go out for the whole day and the whole day is quiet. That's what I live almost every single day. I love my team. They love their jobs. They love who they work with. They like their bosses, and they come to work and they stay and they do a phenomenal job, and they get tipped so well. They get paid well. They get tipped well. They get bonus well. And it's amazing, right? It's amazing. So picture getting a text and it's a client that just gave you a 5-star Google review. That's the days I want for you, right? They're raving about your cleaners by name, right? They're waving them. Oh, it's just Jessica did a great job. Sam did a great job. And you smile because you weren't even there to do it. And that's an amazing feeling. All right, let's go a little bit bigger. Let's go to Saturday afternoon. You're at your kids' game, or you're out to lunch with your spouse, or you're just sitting on your porch doing absolutely nothing. And it feels amazing because there's no stress. Your business is running. Jobs are being completed. Clients are happy, and money is hitting your account. And nobody needed you to show up with a mop to make it happen, because you created the standards, you created the systems, and you created everything you needed to teach them how to do it on their own. And that's success. That is success, whether you're bringing in $300,000 a year, $700,000, 1.5. I will tell you, the larger your income is, the more chances of chaos you have. And everyone's tolerance is going to be different. So some people are just happy running a $500,000 business. Phenomenal. Some people want more. Great, right? But either way, if you fix these systems, your systems are running, your business is running, and money is flowing, and you're feeling good. That's a really good feeling. How do I know? Because I live it. I didn't always live it. It was a mess before, right? And the thing is that it's not me painting a pretty picture. It's happening right now, right? It's happening right now for cleaning business owners that I work with, owners in Drop Them Up, owners that are working with me privately, who decided they were done with the chaos and they wanted change. Real people, right? People who are sitting exactly where you are tonight, overworked, overwhelmed, exhausted, and ready to quit. They made one decision, they committed to doing it differently, and then everything changed, right? You have applicants coming to you for jobs because your reputation as an employer that is so strong. People are lining up for work for your company. You have a wait list to get into your company, an actual wait list to work at your company, people that want to be on your team. You have not cleaned a house yourself in months. That is a good feeling. And your business is making more money than it ever did when you were doing it by yourself, right? Because here's what the truth is. When you build the right team, your business doesn't just survive, it actually thrives. So what does it actually look like? What changes? I'm going to give you the roadmap. You want to grab a pen, paper, you can write this down, okay? Here's what change is going to look like. Here's what change is going to look like. Number one, build a hiring pipeline before you need it. Build it before you need it. I'm going to check in and see who's on here. Hi, Helen. How are you? Sevi the Irish has arrived. Hello, Sevi the Irish. How are you? That's hilarious. That is so funny. Number one, build a hiring pipeline before you need it. The owner who never panic hired, right? They're not lucky. They're prepared. They always have applications coming in. They're always nurturing potential team members, even when every position is full. So when someone leaves, and someone will always eventually leave your company, they're not scrambling, they're selecting, right? Imagine never feeling desperate about hiring again. How good would that feel? Like, that's what a pipeline gives you. So creating a pipeline, hiring them before you actually need them, right? Or having a wait list to get in the company before you actually need them. So number two, create a non-negotiable interview process, okay? A real process with real questions designed to reveal who someone actually is, not just what they tell you they are, right? Because the right person in the right role changes everything. And the wrong person, you already know what that cost you because you've had them. You've had them in your business, right? So when you have a process, you stop hiring out of hope and start hiring with confidence. And that's a really, really good feeling. All right. Number 3, what you can do to start fixing it. Build an onboarding experience they will never forget. Make it better than Dunkin' Donuts. Make it better than Wendy's. Make it better than the maids, the cleaning authority, whatever. Not just a training day, an experience, a very company culture welcome type of experience. One that makes your new hire from day one feel good, that they joined something special, something that is worth showing up for, something that is worth staying for, right? First impressions just aren't for clients. They're for your team too, your existing team. And the owners who get this right, their people stay. I had one girl with us almost 7 years, right? That's unheard of. 7 years she stayed with us. A few of my other ones, 5, other ones, 3. I have some newer ones that have been a year. Rarely do I have, if they're going to leave, if the job isn't a good fit for them in my company, they leave within the first week. They don't stay 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, right? If they stay longer like that, they're going to stay with us for a long time because we treat them well, right? Number 4, creating a culture people do not want to leave. So this doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but it does have to be 100% intentional. So when your team feels seen, valued, and part of something more than just a paycheck, they become loyal. They become your people, right? Loyal people show up. They show up even on hard days when they don't want to come in. Even when something better comes along, right? Even when they're sick, they show up. They stay because of what you have built. And they know how important it is to be accountable and to be part of the team, right? That's one of the big things that I teach in Drop the Mop is company culture. How to create something where your people stay, regardless of whether or not you have an office or not. You can build company culture without an office. But there are some people that don't have offices yet, or they're too rural and can't have an office, right? So loyal people show up. Remember that. And number 5, getting yourself out of the field, removing yourself from the cleaning. Because until you do, you will never have the time or the headspace or the energy. I want to emphasize energy to lead a real team. You cannot hire really well when you're exhausted. You cannot train when you're stretched thin. You cannot build when you're buried. You need to do this a little bit in the beginning, but after a while, you don't have to, little things get, taken off your plate, so to speak, and you don't have to do this anymore, right? You cannot build when you are buried. Remember that. So getting off the floor is not a reward that you get someday when everything is perfect. It's the first step that you make to making everything perfect, right? It's absolutely possible for you. I've seen it happen over and over again. It starts with a decision, right? So here's where I'm going to land tonight. You have 2 choices. Choice 1, you can go back to what you've been doing and say, oh, I just watched a podcast or a webinar and it was interesting. You can keep hiring fast. You can keep hoping for the best. You keep cleaning houses by yourself, losing sleep, losing money, losing time with the people you love, all that stuff. And the next year, I guarantee you one thing. You will be in the same exact place, maybe worse. Choice 2, you decide that you don't want to blow 50 grand every single year on hiring people that just are not worthy of being in your company. You don't want to have that type of expensive turnover anymore. The wake-up calls, the no-shows, all that stuff that you deserve better, right? And you do something about it. Choice 2 is you do something about it. That's what the people that are inside Drop the Mop, my group program and my private program, that's what they're here for, to fix shit. Right? They're fixing shit. Exactly what we work on together, the full system, the interview process, the onboarding, the culture, the pipeline, all of it. My system, my 6-month program is a complete system of everything. It is the foundation to building your cleaning business, creating layers, creating additional streams of revenue, and doubling and tripling and quadrupling profits. More than not, probably 80% of my clients have done extremely well and are growing like crazy, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month, and growing from 8,000, from 10,000. They were at a point where they wanted to quit their business, right? And they're making massive changes. Helen from Texas, Helen Hawker from Texas, joined 4 months ago. She tripled her revenue in 4 months, right? She went from 5K to 15K a month. And she says to me yesterday, let's go higher. Let's do it. Let's go for $25,000 a month. This is what I mean. They're making changes, right? They're making changes. And I wish I could have that for everyone, but sometimes people just aren't ready. They just can't see the sky between the trees, is what I say, right? They can't see the sky between the trees, meaning they can't see what's right in front of them. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So if you're ready to join some of the other owners that are skyrocketing their business, drop them up in the comments. I'll reach out, or find me in the Facebook group. Most of you are in the Facebook group, the private Facebook group. And let's just see if we're a good fit to work together. I don't work with everyone. I only work with people that are ready to deal with me holding them accountable and having them do homework, and having them show up, right? The only thing that's going to make your business work is you need to make it work for yourself. I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink, all right? I can lead you. I can give you everything, all the tools. I can show you. I can coach you. I can do all that stuff. But if you don't implement and you don't show up, you're going to fail. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. If you don't show up for yourself in anything in life, you will fail. Perfect. If you quit, you fail. You fail right there. If you quit, you fail. If you give up on yourself, you fail. If you change direction, you failed, right? But you don't have to, right? You don't have to. So you started your cleaning business for freedom. Let's go after it. Hit me up. Find me. You know where to find me. I hope this was helpful. I want to save all of you from blowing $50,000 a year in your cleaning business. Tamika, you do need to get out of the field. You've been in the field way too long. You've been in the field way too long. I've known you for a long time, right? Who else needs to get out of the field? Who needs to stop cleaning? Oh, we get a lot of people on here now. 26 people on here. Who needs to stop cleaning? I stopped cleaning years ago. I'm going to tell you, it's the best thing ever. It is the best thing ever, not cleaning in my cleaning business, right? Type in the chat, who needs to stop cleaning? I want to hear from everyone. There you are, Helen. Hi, girl. 5K to 15K. All right, everyone. I hope this was helpful. I go live every single Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with a different topic related to the cleaning business. I also have a podcast where I have guests on once a month. My podcast is called Maids Who Made It. You can find it on Instagram and on YouTube. It's on this page as well. And I have some guests on there that are in the industry that are cleaning business owners, that are industry experts. And it's a good time. We rip the Band-Aid off and we swear. So we swear on my podcast. All right, everyone. I hope everyone's having an amazing evening. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next week. All right. Bye.